Hey everyone, Warwick's here. So apologies for the long delay between these. Life and work happened, so I am much slower in getting these out than what I wanted to. I wanted to try and have these out within like a couple of days of the release of everything, but as you could tell with Be Prepared, I released it almost 3 weeks after the recover. This one, as I record, is 11 days out from the original release, and then of course, Friend Like Me is going to be a little bit later than what I'd like as well. The same goes for the Voiceplay and Jeff Castellucci videos that I've got. Life happened. I got behind by like 2 to 3 weeks of what I wanted to be. And yeah, anyways, apologies for that. So for those of you that are new to the channel, I want to say welcome. For those of you that are veterans of the channel, welcome back. It's good to see you again. Today we're going to be covering Gaston, an acapella cover by the Bass Gang. This one's arranged by Peter Barber of the Bass Gang, the man who inspired me to do these videos in the first place. So shout out to Peter. And basically, Bass Gang has been, I guess they now have finished the release of their third EP, which is May the Bass Be With You Volume 3. This is a theme of Disney songs in general. And then they also do a theme where every member of the Bass Gang gets to really kind of be the lead in the respective video that they arranged. So Marwan was the lead in Arabian Nights. Tommy was the lead in Be Prepared. This one, as you can tell by the thumbnail, if you saw it, has Peter Barber going to be the lead of Gaston here. And then Bobby Bass, of course, is going to be the genie, which I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to happen. But I'm going to record that one here soon, so we'll see. Anyways, if you are new to my channel, just a quick rundown on me. My name is Corey. I'm not a professional musician. I'm just a guy that's doing these for fun because I enjoy it. It's my creative outlet. It's a form of self-care for me, and I have met and talked to and interacted with a bunch of really cool people that fill my comments on almost every single one of these videos as a result. So I want to thank you all that do that. I was a drummer in high school, which is now 20 years ago, so I can't really lean on that as expertise anymore. But I kind of still enjoy musical theory, musical ideas, things like that. Obviously focus on drumming because it's always been a thing, and bass because, as you can tell, I have a somewhat deep voice and I have no high notes to speak of. So when I sing, I only have really one choice, and that's to be baritone, and then inspired to work on a little bit of bass voice. Maybe one day I do a short with me singing Misty Mountains or something. So that's me. I just, like I said, I try to do these for fun. I hope I'm entertaining. I hope I'm insightful. I look at both the music side and the video side. As a video creator, of course, I always am intrigued by the visual aspect of all of these. So yeah, if you've never seen one of these videos before, when I do a first time reaction and analysis video, the way that I structure them is as follows. I actually will watch this entire video all the way through, no pauses. I'm literally watching it for the first time, so you're going to see this ugly mug in the bottom left corner of your screen reacting in real time to what I see. And then once I gather myself, kind of give like initial thoughts and maybe a little bit of analysis, I then go into a more deep dive where we pause and rewind and talk about some of the things that I think are really cool from a musical standpoint or a visual standpoint in the video. So I keep forgetting to do it, but I mean to chapter these videos out so that people can like make a point to, excuse me, let me get my dinner out of the way here so I can see my other screen. But I keep forgetting, but I'm going to chapter these videos out one day where you can kind of go where you see just the reaction and then you see just the analysis, so you can kind of skip ahead to whatever it is you want to look at. So that's the way these videos work. So just as an FYI, I'm going to be no pauses for the first time. And then in the second time, we're going to stop, pause, analyze. So without further ado, let's look at Gaston, a full acapella cover, it says. So I'm not expecting any sampled instrumentation from the Bass Gang, arranged by Peter Barber, shot on site in the Czech Republic.
Who does she think she is? That girl has tangled with the wrong man. No one says no to Gaston. Darn right. Dismissed. Rejected. Publicly humiliated. Why, it's more than I can bear.
More beer?
What for? Nothing helps. I'm disgraced.
Gaston, you've got to pull yourself together. Gosh, it disturbs me to see you, Gaston, looking so down in the dumps. Every guy here'd love to be you, Gaston, even when taking your lumps. There's no man in town as admired as you. You're everyone's favorite guy. Everyone's awed and inspired by you. And it's not very hard to see why.
No one's slick as Gaston, no one's quick as Gaston, no one's next as incredibly thick as Gaston, for there's no man in town half as manly. Perfect, a pure paragon.
You can ask any Tom, Dick, or Stanley, and they'll tell you whose team they prefer to be on.
No one's been like Gaston, a kingpin like Gaston. No one's got a swell cleft in his chin like Gaston.
As a specimen, yes, I'm intimidating.
I want a guy like Gaston. Give 5 a ride, give 12 him hips.
Yes, I am the best, and the rest is all trips.
No one fights like Gaston, houses lights like Gaston. In a wrestling match, nobody fights like Gaston.
There's no one as burly or brawny.
As you see, I've got biceps to spare.
Not a bit of him scraggly or scrawny.
That's right, and every last inch of me's
Every last inch of him.
every last inch of me's covered with hair.
Oh my God, it's so hot. No one hits like Gaston, matches wits like Gaston. In a spitting match, nobody spits like Gaston.
I'm especially good at expectorating. Tui!
10 points for Gaston.
When I was a lad, I ate 4 dozen eggs every morning to help me get large. And now that I'm grown, I eat 5 dozen eggs, so I'm roughly the size of a barge.
Well, that was loud.
No one shoots like Gaston, makes those feuds like Gaston, then goes tromping around wearing boots like Gaston.
I use antlers in all of my decorating.
Say it again.
Who's a man among men?
And then say it once more.
Who's that hero next door?
Who's a super success? Don't you know? Can't you guess? Ask my fans and my part hangers on. There's this one guy in town who's got all of it down.
And his name's Gaston.
Wow, what the fuck did I just watch? Oh my god. Oh man, this was... I don't even know, dude. This was fun. I really enjoyed this. So, of the 3 that I've listened to so far, I still think Arabian Nights is my favorite from a musical standpoint, but this 100% is my favorite visually. It's fucking hilarious. I mean, the whole song of Gaston is kind of a masturbatory fucking like self-ego boosting song anyways. That's kind of always meant to be over the top. But these guys did it in a way that was great, and obviously they brought in a bunch of people for this. So yeah, I really enjoyed this video. From a visual perspective, was both simple and probably not very simple to do, because a lot of coordination involved that I saw in the video. We'll break it down a lot more as we get into it, but much more simpler in its direction than like Be Prepared or Arabian Nights. But I think at the same time, it was probably just as tough to shoot as some of the other ones were, because like you obviously are renting out what looks to be an entire room, and we get some really fun some fun interactions that, again, you're trying to coordinate a large group of people to do different things. So it was probably difficult in that regard, but simple comparatively. Like, the concept is simple, execution is hard. That's what I was trying to say. So yeah, that's the end of the video for you. If you're here for the reaction, short, sweet, and simple. Great stuff. For those of you, and I appreciate you guys, don't forget, like, share, subscribe. It's YouTube, guys. You know, I gotta say it. I gotta say it. There's tons of proof out there that says if I don't say it, I don't see that sub number increase or anything like that. So how will the sub number do increase? So yeah, like, share, subscribe, guys. I know you're sick of hearing it. I'm sick of saying it, but until it stops being effective, go. So just tell people to subscribe, and we don't have this problem. Anyways, if you're here to get nerdy with me on this one, let's go ahead and break it down. We're going to start with the credits, because Jesus Christ. All right, arrangement Peter Barber, mixing Ed Boyer, mastering Bill Hare, Casper Fox was the manager on this. Let's see, my head's not in the way good. HGTV production was the production crew. Clara Gale was the camera and direction. Casper Fox, Manav. I know Manav has been big on this. I apologize, I'm going to butcher a bunch of Czech names. David Kratcheville, Jakob Reitif, Casper Fox, Manav Sharma, Matthias Exel. Makeup by Irina Hadakova. Special thanks to Stredoveka Kieromarberimo, which is probably where they were shooting. This is the location that they were shooting on. So that's something, either they rented out a space on this or just happened to find an area that was empty. See anything else other than their YouTube channels, patrons, things like that? All right. No. So yeah, just cool stuff. Like I said, I imagine this was a tough one. I saw Peter leave a comment here. Let's go read it. I've been singing this song since I first saw Beauty and the Beast as a kid in the late 90s. I was always dreaming of mine to perform Gaston in some way. How could it be cooler than a professional music video in the Czech Republic with the bass gang? Hope you all enjoy our swashbuckling cover of Gaston. Yeah, I can definitely see how this was much less true to the original form in that way, but brought its own flair, both swashbuckling and obviously Peter, as an opera trained, really got to show off a lot of that. So let's go dive right into the video now that we've done through the thing. So here's the part where we do a lot of pausing, and I'm going to, well, I'll eat dinner after I record this, before I record Friend Like Me. So no offense, Peter, that shoe is ugly as hell. Hey, I missed this because I was looking over at something else. So we get the running theme of the lamp. Bobby has been carrying it ever since well, he didn't really cover it in Arabian Nights. That was when Marwan got sucked in. So since Be Prepared, he's obviously been carrying it, hiding it, harboring it, and he continues to do so here. So again, this running connection, obviously with the situation with Marwan not able to make it out to the Czech Republic for reasons that are on the base gang's social medias. They decided to take a potential negative and turn it into a fun little Easter egg for those of you that know, and for those that don't, you just kind of are like, what the heck? It's just kind of like a non sequitur in a way, but for those of us that are in the know, this is really cool.
Who does she think she is? That girl has tangled with the wrong man. No one says no to Gaston. Darn right. Dismissed. Rejected. Publicly humiliated. Why, it's more than I can bear.
More beer?
What for? Nothing helps. I'm disgraced.
Gaston, you've got to pull yourself together.
I'm going to stop right there before we get into the meat of it. So obviously we hear everything going on in the background while Bobby and Peter are doing their voice acting here at the top. And obviously you see Tommy in the back there already singing some notes, or lip syncing some notes as he turns towards the camera. So I really like what's going on in the background harmonies here with the range of going across the board here. I'm trying to figure out who was on the high notes. I think it was either Tommy.
Publicly humiliated. Why, it's more than I can bear.
More than I can bear. That was Marwan. That was distinctly Marwan.
She thinks she is. That girl has tangled with the wrong man.
So you're getting this very, like, what I like to call circus style. This boom, doom, doom, doom. You know, so you kind of get this where you have this like bouncing bass line, as you call it, where it's almost like a ball bouncing, and every time the ball bounces, it's a bass note. It's very circus-like. You see this a lot in what's dubbed circus-style pieces in orchestra music, where you just have this very like not slow, but it's definitely not, it's not energetic. It's very intentional. That's not the word I'm looking for. We'll go with it for now. But it's very intentional in its pacing. And so we start off with this right at the start here.
Who does she think she is? That girl has tangled with the wrong man. No one says no to Gaston.
And you get it, and you can hear in the background, even when you get those bass notes, you have boom doo doo 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 boom doo doo. Yeah, very much a God. What was the composer that I played a shitload of in high school? Something King, Carl King. I think his name was Carl King. But he was really famous for writing a bunch of these like circus style pieces. Marches is he dubbed them, but they're not marches. They're nothing close to marches. But yeah, so they're really getting that kind of establishing rhythm, and it kind of sets the tone, obviously, with this and the voice acting. Excellent costumes, by the way. Shout outs. But really sets that tone here off at the beginning.
That girl has tangled with the wrong man. No one says no to Gaston. Darn right. Dismissed. Rejected. Publicly humiliated.
And it's very subtle, obviously, because the voice acting has been mixed to be more front and center, but you're hearing the text in the background of things that are going on. I can't make it out because I'm shit at picking up lyrics immediately. I have to listen to it a few times. Which is really cool stuff with, I'm assuming, what is Marwan and Tommy. It's who it sounds like. But obviously all four guys are in there adding their mix at the start. So it could be any four of them, because when you have music like this and you're not actually singing the professionally recorded audio, because they recorded all of it, of course, but it just allows you to have fun with the way that you build and layer everything. So really cool stuff going on in the background. I really, really enjoy that. Let's get moving.
Why, it's more than I can bear.
More beer?
What for? Nothing helps. I'm disgraced.
Gaston, you've got to pull yourself together. Gosh, it disturbs me to see you, Gaston, looking so down in the dumps. Every guy...
So really, really enjoy Bobby taking this front line. Like, Gaston is not much of a solo song as Arabian Nights or Be Prepared is. So the fact that this feels much more ensemble is obviously intended by design because of the way that the song is. So very cool. But I really like the fact that Bobby's face. I really like the way that Bobby's mixing the voice acting aspect with some singing. I don't know if there's like an official way to call it, but I call it melodic voice acting. Or theatrical singing, as my brother called it. It's probably the same thing. I like melodic voice acting. It just sounds better to me. Kind of mixing it in, we kind of hear both like the voice acting side, but then also the true kind of Bobby bass tone that I think is really definitively Bobby, and it's really cool. So if you listen to it right here,
looking so down in the dumps. Every guy here'd love to be you, Gaston, even when taking your lumps. There's no man in town as admired as you. You're everyone's favorite guy.
I really like the little visual aspect of Tommy patting Gaston on the back, so to speak. And, I cannot remember the character's name. Beauty and the Beast was never my favorite movie as a Disney movie kid. I was much more a Lion King guy, Aladdin, and Hercules, actually. If someone ever did a cover of any Hercules songs, point them to me because I want to see it. Like Voiceplay did one, for example, or Home Free. But, so I can't remember the character's name, but he's just really embodying everything about the lackey that is like completely and fully loyal to a guy that does not give a fuck about him. It's great. For me, it's kind of like a crossover in some ways with a current storyline in professional wrestling. I'm not going to bore you with the details, though, if you don't care to know. If you care to know what about it, throw it in the comments. I'll tell you.
Everyone's awed and inspired by And it's not very hard to see why.
No one slick as Gaston. No.
I was so happy to have Marwan in the video again. So like it just makes me happy. I'm just so freaking happy. Because then be prepared, if you remember, I talk about it. I'm kind of sad we never see Marwan in it. But here we're getting plenty of Marwan. And, or we get some Marwan, rather, in the picture frame this time. Of course, managing the green screen. And of course, everyone's looking at it like it's no big deal. Like this picture frame is talking and singing. Like it's just a normal thing that happens, you know? Which, I mean, in the Beauty and the Beast castle probably is. But in the pub outside in quote-unquote the normal world, weird. So it's just kind of like a fun little ode to the movie, in my opinion. Probably not intentional, but I like it. Also, Tommy, sorry, buddy. Same to you, Marwan. But yeah, I love that we get Marwan leading this little first line here after Bobby's introduction, so to speak. Because I love me some Marwan. I'm glad to see him finding his way back into the videos here.
No one's slick as Gaston, no one's quick as Gaston, no one's neck's as incredibly thick as Gaston, for there's no man in town half as manly. Perfect, a pure paragon.
You can ask any Tom, Dick, or Stanley, and they'll tell you whose team they prefer to be on.
No one's big like Gaston, a kingpin like Gaston. No one's got a swell cleft in his chin like Gaston.
There's a specimen.
Wonder how much Tommy had to kneel over because he's so much taller than Peter. Like Tommy, or I think Peter talks about this a little bit. Like Peter's like 5'9", 5'10", so pretty average actually height for like the average man in the world, I believe, at least in the U.S. And they were like, dude, Tommy's like says he's 6'6", and that might be underselling it. So the fact that he's like obviously significantly taller, but then has to bend down to kind of make himself look not as big as Gaston, just a funny little thing. I just think it's hilarious. But I really like what Tommy does right here, the game with no one, like the acting that he does here. Obviously playing into the everyone loves Gaston thing, but also, sorry, I like your tats, lady friend. Shout outs to whoever you are. Your tats are great. But I like what he does here with his hand and his voice, and like obviously just following it through. It's just fun, quirky stuff, you know.
No one's big like Gaston, a kingpin like Gaston. No one's got a swell cleft in his chin like Gaston.
There's a specimen, yes, I'm intimidating.
I want a guy like Gaston. Give 5.
Ooh, I love what Bobby did in the background here. Listen to the bass line that Bobby dropped back here, because it is Bobby on the bass here.
There's a specimen, yes, I'm intimidating.
I want a guy like Gaston. Give 5.
So he's doing the way that Bobby's doing it sounded like he was going boom instead of doom. So he was going boom, kind of giving it this more open sound. And then at the end, it was when he was doing the walking down section, it was doon 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 doon. He did it like, I think it was like just like Gaston. So really kind of playing into it a little bit. So I really like that little background writing. Cool arranging by Peter there.
Yes, I am the best, and the rest is all dress.
No one fights like Gaston, houses lights like Gaston. In a wrestling match, nobody fights like Gaston.
There's no one as pretty or brawny.
I need to know if it was just like, it was all 4 of them up there, because that was interesting in its harmonies and sounds to me. The other thing that I've noticed is you're probably noticing a lot. I haven't mentioned it, but I'll mention it now. Peter's really showing off his opera training in this. And even all the other guys are like, there's a lot of vibrato in this, which is typically associated with, and it's not just like vibrato for the sake of adding vibrato. It's vibrato with power, which is usually what's associated with opera. So he's showing off his real opera chops here, which is great, but then still showing off like his ability and his range to go with it. So like just kind of showing off Peter Barber, like if Peter ever wanted to basically post a like clip of who is Peter Barber, like he could literally show that bass clip where he's like, you know, yes, I am very intimidating, where he's doing that vibrato the whole time in a bass area. Like, that should just be a clip on Peter Barber's reel that he sends out to any opera that he wants to join, because it's like everything that is like, it's an opera bass, which is not as deep as what we like associate with bass. It has great vibrato to it, great power. Like, he just really, really nails it, and it's great.
As you see, I've got biceps to spare.
Not a bit of him scraggly or scrawny.
That's right. And every last inch of me's
Every last inch of him.
Every last inch of me's covered with hair.
So, just real quick, because it's just a funny way of the line. They literally just said not an inch of him scraggly or scruffly, but then the rest of him is covered in hair, so like kind of is scraggly and scruffly. Like, it was always just kind of a funny way in the line. I think it's an intentional contradiction, which is really funny, because of course now, like, you know, in the setting of in the time really that Beauty and the Beast was made, clean shaven was kind of the look. Now, obviously, like, I've been rocking this since I was like 15, 16 years old. And I've been told that if I ever shave it off, I will get, A, I look like a child, but B, I've had many women that I've talked to say that they don't think I would look good without the facial hair. So, like, now facial hair is not only accepted, but it has been glorified and deemed as the standard to look gorgeous in male terms, to be handsome, I guess. So just a fun little, let's go back in time a little bit, where being super clean shaven was considered, truly at one point in time, it was considered the way to, was like the glorified version of handsome. And nowadays, like, it's like the trend is much more in the favor of facial hair, though it's not to the extremes that it would have been around the time that Beauty and the Beast is set in.
Oh my God, it's so hot. No one hits like Gaston, matches wits like Gaston in a spitting match. No,
More Marwin, please.
nobody spits like Gaston.
I'm especially good at expectorating. Twee!
10 points for Gaston.
When I was
Again, points for Gaston. So instead of just going boom, 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 they're adding that flavor to it by having text being done on these walking down bass lines. I just think it's just really cool and really smart arranging, in my opinion.
a lad, I ate 4 dozen eggs every morning to help me get large. And now that I'm grown, I eat 5 dozen eggs, so I'm roughly the size of a fudge.
I mean, just the vibrato is crazy.
No one shoots like Gaston, makes those feuds like Gaston, then goes tromping around wearing boots like Gaston.
I use antlers in all of my decorating.
Say it again. Who's a man among men?
And then say it once more.
Who's that hero next door?
Who's a super success? Don't you know? Can't you guess? Ask my fan.
So again, with this walking part, again, just because Tommy is so much taller than the rest of the group, you notice he's bent down, walking slouched, knees are bent. It's just freaking hilarious, because we don't want to overshadow that badly Gaston. It's just, it's just funny to me. I just adore it.
Who's a super success? Don't you know? Can't you guess? Ask my fans and my pod hangers on. There's just one guy in town who's got all of it down.
Really love the number of harmonies in that chord. I don't know how many it is, but there's a lot. And, like, again, it's a pure acapella cover, and I think it's nothing but the guy singing, but there's some high notes there that I swear sound like are coming from a woman's voice. And I don't mean that to insult. I actually mean that as a compliment, because it means that they've really gained a control of their high voice in a way that it's, like, they can make it sound like it's not even theirs, which, you know, is impressive. We're going to go back 10 seconds and listen for it.
Fans and my pod hangers on. There's There's this one guy in town who's got all of it down.
Yeah, it's a lot of like falsetto that's going on, I think, there from probably Marwan, Peter, and Tommy. That just is adding it and makes it sound like this entire tavern truly is involved in the singing, even though clearly outside of the three guys here and Marwan in the picture frame, no one is actually singing, although Casper probably could. But like the fact that they figured out a way from a mixing and mastering perspective to actually make it sound like the whole tavern is singing when it's literally just four dudes layered on each other like 3 or 4 times is impressive work. So I really enjoyed that.
And his name's Gaston.
Oh, hang on, we gotta. Boom, boom. Marwan and Bobby there on the end there. So yeah, this is hilarious to me because it kind of references, again, history nerd. So again, if you remember when Beauty and the Beast is set, it's set in like pseudo medieval France, I believe. And, you know, at that time, things like reading were considered high society, and spelling also high society. Like, people learned their basic letters and they kind of learned how to write, but for the general non-royalty, non-teachers, it was a situation where, generally speaking, most adults were like 5th grade education when they were adults, because they just, outside of some basic reading and writing and maybe some basic math for the merchants and stuff like that, most people didn't really invest in education because they couldn't afford to. Like, education was seen as something that was, for the rich, which is why the royals and stuff were able to come across. Like, everyone would see, oh, they're so smart. Well, yeah, generally speaking, against other folks, yeah, they were. But like, the average royal was probably really only as smart as like a college student today would be. Like, there's just that gap in the way that it was done. So the fact that they struggled to spell Gaston's name there is a nice little ode to the fact of the very little real history steeped in the Beauty and the Beast movie. That is kind of just, it's in, little kids will take it as, hey, we are just, these guys aren't the smartest, they can't spell Gaston's name. But for those of us that really like and enjoy the history of everything, it just allows us to kind of take a step back and realize, yeah, that's right, this is medieval France. Like, education was not as big as it is now, where ideally most everyone gets a high school level education, which covers a lot more these days than what it would have 300, 400 years ago. So, all right, history nerd hat off. Overall, like I said, I think musically Arabian Nights is still my favorite. I really, really enjoyed this one though, because it's A, visually it's just ridiculous. B, tonally it's very different. Like, obviously Be Prepared is very sinister. Arabian Nights is meant to be almost epic, because it's designed to set up an entire movie. Be Prepared, of course, is a villain song. Like, we all know what villain songs are supposed to be. Gaston is both a villain song and but it's a different type of villain song. Like, Scar in Be Prepared is very sinister, very malicious, very intentional. Gaston's just an ego. He's just an egomaniac, and this whole song is meant to portray him as an egomaniac and as a bully and as a guy that you don't really like. So he's a villain in a different way, and then, of course, as the movie goes on, he tries to kill the beast and all that good stuff. And he becomes much more traditional villain. But at least in the beginning, you're not intended to, like, straight up hate Gaston. You're just kind of meant to be annoyed by him. And that's what this song accomplishes. So, and then this version of it, adding in the swashbuckling, the circus, bouncy bass medleys that carry the song quite a bit, and then Peter's incredible opera skills all get shown off here. It just brings it together in a really nice, tight, fun package. And that's what this is. This is definitely fun. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. If you did enjoy that, make sure to throw some support out there, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment below. Just help the algorithm get it seen. Hopefully that means more people see it, maybe more people enjoy it, and then we go from there. So until the next video, I hope you're all staying safe. I hope you're enjoying yourself. You're having fun. You keep on listening to great music. I almost said gaming because it's not a gaming video, but I will see you all in the next video.